Call to order, Buhl City Council meeting, Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. Mr. Jeffries, please take the roll.
Councillor Hadrava.
Here.
Councillor Keeley.
Here.
Councillor Loeffler.
Here.
Councillor Towner.
Here.
Mayor Carter.
Here.
All are here, quorum present, we may conduct business.
Thank you, sir. All rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Mr. Jeffries, do we have any changes to the agenda?
Mayor Carter, we do have one item that I'd like to introduce under new business as the first item under new business for just approving a small expenditure.
Okay. With that change, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
A motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Agenda is approved. Moving on to reports from department heads.
This evening, that'll be myself, so hi everybody, hello everybody. I have a few items just to highlight. First of all, the big item of the week is that the 2024 legislative season is now over. The session has ended. And it was quite the experience at the end of the whole session. There were some unusual activity. There were some filibusters, there was some heated debate, there was some gabbling of out of order folks. There were some things thrown around verbally because of what appeared to be a little bit of non-bipartisan support for some things. Out of the end of that, the only thing I want to mention for us is that there was no bonding at this time at all. No one got anything. They may go into a special session later to deal with it. They may not. Way too early to tell. But our bonding request will not go forward at this time. What we did receive through the mineral article of the tax bill was $500,000 for infrastructure improvements. That has carried, that has passed. And I want to mention in that same mineral article, our wastewater facility, CIRSSD, also received $1.2 million for 2 years, fiscal 24 and fiscal 25, $850,000 for this year, $350,000 for next year. Those are going to be used for improvements to the system as they see fit, and hopefully some of that may carry over into helping our alignment with them as well. Secondly, I wanted to give a quick summary of the summer events here in the city. And they are June 10th through 13th, the citywide cleanup. The hours for that will typically be working hours for our crews, 7 to 3:30, June 10th through 13th. Citywide garage sale will be on June. The citywide garage sale will be on June 21st from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Independence Day and 4th of July celebration will be on June 22nd, starting bright and early at 9 in the morning and continuing all day until festivities dwindle much later that day. I anticipate we'll participate in the National Night Out on August 6th. Tentatively, that's 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. The Great River Energy Mesaba Trail Tour, bike tour, will be headquartering in Buhl this year on August 10th. That day will be 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. There are 4 or 5 different routes that are being solicited for different levels of biker, and they all start and end here. So that'll be a kind of a good day for the Mesabi Trail and ourselves. And then finally, the Buhl Beach Blast, August 20th, 3 to 5 p.m. Those are the summer events as we have identified them so far. Next item is I'm taking advantage of our audience tonight we kind of mentioned this before, but I'll let the horse do the talking. The Iron Range Tourism Bureau would like to have some advertising on some additional ATV maps, new ATV maps that are being published because of demand for it. I mean, the IRTB has gone way more digital in their product line, but this is a map of which the IRTB is asking their member communities for $100 for a 4x2 color ad. And Beth Pierce, the Executive Director of the IRTB, is here tonight, and I'd like Beth to give her little push on this.
Well, as you can imagine, there's a lot of demand for ATV trail maps. People are able to look on the DNR site and they can see individual trail systems, but there's nothing out there right now that, like the snowmobile maps, that show all the trails.
A compilation of all of it.
Yes, so
Okay.
that's what we're working on. And I've seen the first proof, it needs some work, but I'm very excited to have it because it's gonna help. People will be able to look at our area and say, okay, we could start in Floodwood and go to Hibbing, or we can start, wherever and go. So it'll be, North Shore to Itasca County, kind of up to where the Voyagers trails, like in the Cook area, they go down from there, from Crane Lake area, and then up to like the Prospectors Loop, which is in the Ely area. So it'll be, the Iron Range, pretty much down to the Independence area. They have some nice connections down there, and you can get up to the Iron Range. So anyway, that's what the map is, and the ads are not gonna pay for it by any means, but I think it would just be nice if if the town said, welcome, and on the back. So they're all colored, and I think pretty much all the towns are participating, so.
Excellent.
Thank you, Beth. So I was thinking about approaching BETA, the Economic Development Authority, with this request. It fits well with them, and I know I can work with Beth to wait till the end of the month for that appropriation, but if it's more appropriate and if you'd like to consider it through the council, please do. And then the last item for tonight is we've begun exploring, and I'm anticipating that we're going to engage and enlist Camp Life as a platform for reservations at our Stubbler Beach campground. The product, to me, is well worth trying for 1 year. And what we're talking about right now has a minimum investment of about $300. And that should carry us through most of this year. There will be a $3.50 per online reservation fee, but that would hopefully be passed right through to folks who want to make their reservations online.
Yes, because we have it. I mean, we use it at our job,
Yeah.
and they pass it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm anticipating that at the next council meeting, we'll come for approval of going with Camp Life on this basis. Now, with that being said, I'll be brief, but this includes Beth here also. The IRTB, the Iron Range Tourism Bureau, which you'll hear more about in a minute, the budget for the organization comes from a 3% application of a fee on overnight lodging in the service area. We are a member, we are in the service area. However, we don't have any hotels or motels, and I don't believe the campground has ever participated in this before. With the Camp Life software, I would think that we may now wish to participate in it. Again, what it turns out to be is 3% of the fee for lodging, which an overnight stay at a camp spot is. So although it is not going to be a huge dollar number, I think it would be very good to partnering to say we participate, even if the amount that we now deliver to the IRTB will not be very high. Again, it won't cost the city anything. It is a pass-through on the rates. So please keep in mind when we talk about Camp Life, if you will, when we come back to it, we may float the idea of slight adjustment to rates at Stubbler Beach Campground to cover the additional 3%. Well, that being the case, the rate right now is $15 a night. So 3% is, what, 45 cents? So maybe just another $1. Okay? And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to Citizens Forum. Anybody wish to speak?
Yes, we have two individuals signed up this evening, and the first of those is Mark Lamorier. Mr. Lamorier?
Go ahead.
Richard,
I am.
Hello, sir.
I have one question. Every day I leave home, come home, all I'm seeing is that old car wash falling apart. When is something gonna be done about it?
We've had a lot of discussion on it. From a legal standpoint, Mr. Carney, can you touch on that maybe?
Well, if it's blight, you can do it criminally, or you could do it civilly, you know, it all depends what
If
the
it's a
city wants
blight
to do.
issue.
It's pretty much blight, there's no.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. My opinion of it is it's, at some point here, it's a hazard to the community, a safety issue. And I think that's where we could have some ground on.
Yeah, well, you can declare it a hazardous structure and do it civilly and get a court order to tear it down and, you know, levy the cost on the property, but then it goes tax forfeit, so the city of Buhl ends up the legal
City eats
fees to get it removed.
Yeah.
So,
No, the old shortstop on the south side of the building, they pulled some type of railing out from someplace and it's leaning against the back of the building. Well, I had to go down there and chase some kids off because they're climbing up there under the roof of the shortstop, the old one. So that might be something you might wanna tell them, get away from the building so the kids can't climb up there.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, it's a liability to him, not the city, but,
He doesn't own that.
no,
you
that's,
know.
That's a different owner.
Buhl Water owns
Buhl
that
Water
building.
owns that.
with
Yeah.
the car wash, back to that, is, again, if there's consent from the owner, you know, to get it demolished and cooperate with IRRB, you know, that's a possibility.
Yeah,
Give me a skid steer up there, don't
I think we'd all love to. Mr. Jeffries,
Yes.
can staff maybe approach that individual and start conversation again?
Yes, I
Being
have
as-
that noted, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll see what we can do again.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Lamorier. Now we have Melody Staffaroni.
Hello, Mel.
Hi,
Floor is yours.
I'll be quick. I typed it up so that all I'm gonna do is just read. I have two subjects I'd like to approach the council with. The first one is, at the last meeting, you mentioned that the city of Buhl possibly is going to enter into a lease agreement with the B2 Bank for a future teen center. Before the city signs any agreements, there's a few of us that do have some questions, and maybe you can give us the answers. The first one is, did you do a current air quality report on this bank, or have they done a current air quality report on this bank? It wouldn't surprise me that the bank is full of mold, because it's been sitting vacant for quite a few years. Most old buildings do have mold. The second thing is it handicap compliant? Because in order for the city to sign a lease agreement, all buildings have to be mandated handicapped accessible. I don't know if it's handicapped accessible or not, but you would know that. And it has to have handicapped restrooms in case a wheelchair person wants to get in there. And third, if the building is not handicapped accessible or compliant, and has a negative air quality report, is the bank willing to pay to bring that building into compliance? And then four, who is going to be responsible for all the utilities? The heat, the lights, liability insurance, there's numerous things that are involved, but utilities is one. Second thing is new water tower. Old subject, I'm gonna bring it up again. I have been corrected on how many grants this city of Buhl has applied for and have been ultimately awarded. The previous mayor, John Claridge, and his council, old council, directed Mr. Jaminek, our city engineer, and the administrator at the time, Ryan Pervenenzi, to work with the Costin Group to secure funding for a new water tower only through the state of Minnesota. That funding was secured in the amount of $1.45 million. Also, the city recently, and now Tony just brought that to your attention, has been awarded a $5,000 or $500,000 award via this year's infrastructure improvements. So right now, we're looking at 1.45 million and 500,000. I'm informed that you can usually use the funds if we have a match. You can use some of these funds. We also have on file an engineering study of the old estimates for a new water tower, not the bids, just old estimates. Engineering studies are mandated, you have to have those. And we're gonna fast forward now to the current council, new mayor, new administrator. You have applied for a federal grant and received $3.48 million. But that is with a $750,000 match, as Tony gave us a report on that a few council meetings ago. And that includes a possible new water tower, not for sure, along with new infrastructure and an industrial park possibly across the highway. That grant has also been secured. So now in summary, we're looking at $1.45 million in state funds that have been sitting for a year, and that is for a new water tower only. That is specific. $500,000 is for any infrastructure improvements. That's state money, and that now is sitting, going to be waiting. And then we have $3+ million in federal funding with a $750,000 match that is now sitting and waiting. When are you, the council, going to get the old estimates out and the reports that are in the city hall offices? Or if you don't have them anymore, I know for a fact that engineering offices have to keep them, and they have them. And then you're gonna have to compile an up-to-date engineering study and seek out bids that are needed for a new water tower. In order for administration and engineering, you, the council, have to proceed with a directive to give the administrator a directive and the engineer to proceed seeking out bids. Because this money is sitting and waiting and time is ticking on. And that's all I have to say. And thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go on, I got one question on that bank. Who's gonna determine if that building is structurally sound enough?
Here,
to have
Tony, I got a
teen
copy for
center
you,
there?
so
Thank
that
you,
it's
Ben.
all
You know,
accurate.
if it's got mold and stuff in it, who knows what those walls are like? How, is there any strength left in them? You got moisture in there? Who's gonna determine that? Is the bank gonna pay for having that inspected? You know, the city shouldn't have to if you're gonna lease it.
No, absolutely not.
Well, that's, yeah. I just touched on what I could.
Mayor Carter,
Yes, sir.
I can add some extra info if it's appropriate.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Just this morning, engineering and I met, and we met for scheduling, refreshing, revisiting the report, the preliminary engineering analysis that Ms. Staffaroni just referred to.
Yeah, but
So that,
you can't do it without the 5 of them approving it.
right.
Okay.
So we met to get the planning in order, and that by far was one of the first things for refreshing those numbers. And secondly, as we've talked for several occasions, we fully expect a series of public meetings at some point, and I have asked that when direction is received, that engineering be in a position to have that information so we can begin these public meetings in August, with the hope being that no matter what the ultimate decision is, we go out for RFP bids in the late fall for late fall, early winter evaluation for project go-ahead next spring.
My question to you would be, I was married to an engineer 50 years, I would like to know how you can do that without getting a bid on a new water tower. You can get the engineering studies done and you can get the specs done, but you can't get a quote price, because there's only 4 different types of water towers, you know that. And the prices for each one of them are gonna be different. How in the world can you have any kind of a meeting and tell the citizens of Buhl what you got when you don't have a bid?
To respond to that, the RFP that I speak of, request for proposals, that is in effect the bid. The expected dollar amount is high enough that a bid is not the appropriate way to go. I think bids are only good until $250,000. Above that, you send out a request for proposal, RFP. Effectively, it's a bid, but that is exactly what we would need to do and evaluate over the course of the late fall to make an award, hopefully in early winter for a next spring go-ahead.
Yeah, because there's very few companies out there that build new water towers. And it has to be specific and engineering specific.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm not being facetious,
No,
it's just
no,
that.
you're right, yeah. But I bring it up because we just met at 10 o'clock this morning.
Yep.
11 o'clock this morning, we sat and chatted about that to roll it forward. Okay?
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Mel.
Yeah,
We are.
you gotta give them an official directive. He can't do these things without you telling him.
I'm pretty sure we understand that.
I know, but,
And we're trying to do everything we can and gather every piece of information that we can possibly have to have in front of council before a decision's made on that. So, once all the information is gathered,
but they can't, what I'm trying to explain is, he can't go out and spend money and call an engineer and say, geez, we want an engineering
No.
study done on this without the 5 of you
not
telling
without
me.
direction of council. We
That's
understand that,
correct.
yes. And we will get there.
Well,
We will get there. All right, thank you, everybody. Moving on to the consent agenda. The minutes from the regular council meeting, May 7th, 2024. Claims payroll number 10 in the amount of $14,790.15. Accounts payable in the amount of $81,033.77 for a total of $95,823.92. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A motion.
Thank you. We have a second?
I'll second.
Good.
Thank you. All right, any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent agenda is approved. All right, moving on to business. Item A, presentation from the Iron Range Tourism Bureau. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Mayor, members of the council, and this isn't really a presentation, it's just kind of an update, but I'm, again, the director of Iron Range Tourism Bureau. We're a nonprofit destination marketing organization. As Mr. Jeffries mentioned, we are funded primarily by the 3% lodging tax. So right now, our visitors pay that, the properties remit that, and that looks like 14 hotels and motels. There's 7 participating campgrounds, and there's probably about maybe a dozen short-term rentals that are participating right now. So I just wanted to talk to you guys today about a couple of things I'm excited about. I want to acknowledge first that we had a really lousy winter, as you all know. Our January compared to last January, lodging taxes were down about 38%. February, they were down about 25%, kind of bounced back in March. But I have to give a shout out to Giants Ridge. They had the best snow in the Midwest all winter long. They did a great job of keeping it together. They were able to host some tournaments and championships for high school leagues, and they even did the Nordic state championship on the hill instead of on the ski trails because there was no snow. But so we have to give them a shout out, and you know, we always have hockey too, that always helps in the winter. And the Range Recreation Civic Center in Evelyn hosted the senior men's national curling, so that helped us this winter as well. But winter's over, we're going on to summer, of course, and there's a couple things that are going to hopefully impact our visitors, the number of visitors that we have. You may know that the Mesabi Trail has been in progress for about 25 years. And it has always been their plan that when it's done or close to being done, they would invest in advertising and promoting it. So the advertising and marketing of it up till now has been fairly minimal. And this is the Lake and St. Louis Regional Railroad Authority that maintains, manages, builds, and is now promoting the trail. So last fall, they had a pretty major investment, about $200,000 in advertising and marketing, and so that they're seeing some really good results. So it's very exciting. Just as an example, in March of last year, they had about 85 requests for their trail map online, and in March of this year, they had about 486. So a nice big jump year over year, and as a direct result of their advertising. So hopefully seeing more people on the Mesabi Trail. I know that they're seeking funding to redo the trail between Buhl and Kinney. So hopefully that'll happen next year. It would start, but when they get that approved. So that is exciting. The other thing we already mentioned was ATV trails. We've always done really well with ATV folks, and it's one of our top pages on the website that's visited and searched. And so now people will be able to look at a map and really plan their trip and be able to see where they can go and what all they can do. So that's very exciting, and we'll be sure to bring some here. And because trails are so important to our economy and to our lifestyle, we're working with the Mesabi Trail to have a trail summit in August. So there's been millions and millions of dollars invested in trails in the last 5 years, really. And all kinds of trails, motorized, non-motorized. So you will all be invited, city leaders across the region will be invited to gather with our trail, our club people, and just kind of celebrate what we've done, but also then kind of talk about how we can capitalize on that, all those investments, how we can all benefit from that. So that'll be, following the Mesabi Trail, so from Grand Rapids to Ely, we'll be able to bring people together at Iron Trail Motors Event Center. It'll be in August. It'll be like a lunch, during a lunch hour kind of a deal during the week. And we have we did some user studies at Redhead and Giants Ridge, so we have some good data about those folks and their economic impact. And there's an ongoing study right now in St. Louis Lake and Cooch County about ATV trail users. So that data will also be shared with everybody at that time. So it'll be a good chance to talk about trails, and hopefully we can find something to bring the whole Iron Range together. I think trails is it. So anyway, I will more to come on that. I'm sure Mr. Jeffries will keep you informed. And then I also wanted to give you an update, the Mine Tour project. So I believe that so the Mine Tour project is the GIS and Google mapping story map project that it follows all of the mining communities, former mines, and current active mines from Cuyuna Lakes area all the way up to Ely, and then the North Shore Mine and Silver Bay, the ore docks. And it's been going on for a couple of years now. But video has been taken of all the communities, including Buhl, and somebody should have access to that. I don't know if Mr. Jeffries, I think it was before your time. So it's floating around somewhere, and photography that you guys can use however you want. And so by the end of this month, it should be live. So it looks fabulous, it looks really great. It's a website with the video, and it follows along with attractions and all these communities, and there's a map, and you can kind of plan your trip. Even as you travel, you can learn about where you're at. So the next phase of that is going to be signage. And if Buhl participated in that, and this was really spearheaded by Itasca County, because they know they don't do as good a job as we do in St. Louis County about promoting our mining and reclamation projects. But they have to include us because we have most of them, so that they started. So Megan Christensen and Sarah Carling from CETA, you guys remember that, any of that? Okay. But I think part of that, your investment was you'll have some signage that'll be put up somewhere in Buhl. I'm not sure where your location was, but I think that I'm going to be more actively involved with that project when it gets to that phase 2. But anyway, more to come on that. That's an exciting thing, and Grand Rapids is going to come out with, my counterpart in Grand Rapids will come out with some posters and QR codes to help promote that website, and we'll have it on our social media and on our website and everything too. So ironrange.org, and we're on social media, Discover the Range. So
Excuse me a minute, Beth?
yes.
Who was the spearheaded organization behind the Mine Tour project?
It was really CETA, so Community Economic Development. She works with a number of smaller towns in Itasca County, and they wanted to better promote their mining assets. I mean, I'm thinking of LaRue Pit over in the Nashua campgrounds and some of those things they wanted to, and their access to the Masada Trail and that kind of thing. That's where it really came from, and so.
The IRTB picked up on those coattails and has been the local leader.
Well, yeah, well, they asked us to be involved, and I said, that's a huge project, you guys are nuts, but I'll help I'll do what I can. And so, 3 years in, it's finally done, and we did contribute money to it, and there were some grants that were received, and many communities contributed money to it as well, so it's finally to that phase, and then the signage part, I think that Itasca County hopes to hand that off, so.
When did you say that's gonna be?
It'll be, so the current grant cycle of phase 1 ends June 30th, so it will be live this month, or in June. So, and if you follow our social media, we'll break it there too, but, and I have just a couple other things I wanted to quickly kind of get a little plug for. We have a Certified Tourism Ambassador program that's it's sort of meant for people who greet our visitors and who interact with our visitors, the hotels, motels, attractions, but we've had, at the last one we had on May 5th, we had some folks, we had a woman from National Bank of Commerce in Hibbing, we had some people from, we had a realtor from the Evelyn area, so I mean, we had a variety of people take the class, and it's really fun. You'll learn about all the things to see and do in the area, and there's a customer service, and it's interactive. It's a really good program.
Anybody in the room in that group?
I don't think so. You did take it originally.
I did.
That was a while ago. I don't know if I remember that, but anyway, we have another one coming up on June 20th. And then the Spirit of Hospitality Awards, we are in our 13th year of recognizing and appreciating people in the hospitality industry. So that's always a fun event. We have an awards in October. Trying to think, I feel like there's somebody from Billy's or, I think we have current nominees, but I think there's been somebody in the past that has actually won, so, yeah, it's a good event. And that is all the time I will take right now. Does anybody has any questions? Okay, it's gonna be a great summer.
When's that ATV map gonna be available?
I wish it was done right now. It's in my car, it's all marked up, because it needs some work, but,
Call me if you're going.
I wanted it to be done by now, so hopefully by the end of, the next couple weeks. I can't say
Okay,
the end
so
of it,
it should be available sometime this summer.
but it has to be, because there's nothing else out there that people can, I mean, Ride Command, you're gonna use that for on the trail, but just to
Yeah.
plan your trip, there's.
Are those, when they become available, are those gonna be available for purchase, or how are you guys doing
They're
it?
free, yeah.
They're
people
free?
can order 'em. And since you guys have an ad, we'll make sure you have some here.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll get them here.
You
Yeah.
can get them on our website, and I know they're gonna go fast.
well, that ATV stuff I don't know. 10 years ago, it wasn't nearly what it is now. It's becoming just as big, if not bigger, than snowmobiling.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, you're never gonna lose an ATV season like you lose a snowmobile.
No, exactly, that'll always be there.
Yeah.
We went on that Chisholm ride last year. They have a spring ride. They had one again this year. We didn't go. Last year, they had 165 machines and 300 and some people.
Yeah,
They left from Chisholm.
yeah, and I don't know of snowmobile events, do they even get that big? I'm not a big snowmobiler, but those ATV rides get to be pretty substantial.
It'd be nice if they bring the trail all the way this way to Chisholm.
They're working on it,
There's talk of it.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Along with that, Beth highlighted it a little bit, improvements to our section of the trail. We're talking about them now. They probably will not happen this year, it'll probably be next year, but who knows, maybe at the end of the year. But we're on the radar for trail improvements from the northeast side of town to the southwest side of town.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you so much.
Mayor, could I take the extra item up now?
Yes, sir.
Council, I'd like to introduce at this time a request for consideration. It's that time of year when everybody's graduating from school. So one of the common things, and one thing we did do last year, is we put out a little shout out, congratulations to our graduates in the Mesabi Tribune. And the request is to determine whether we'd like to do that again. I would recommend we do. It's $18.75, and I'd be looking for a recommendation to either do so or not do so.
So it'll be basically an advertisement taken out in the Mesabi?
It's just a little clip with a bunch of others that just say congratulations
Okay.
to our graduates
Yep.
with the City of Buhl logo.
Yeah, gotcha. Council,
I'm in.
you have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, excellent. We have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Everybody else? Thoughts? Input?
It's a good idea.
It is a good idea. That's our children. All right. With nothing more, those in favor say aye. Those
Aye.
opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for keeping an eye on that. And before I forget, congratulations to all the seniors this year. Alright, moving on, item B. Approve hiring of 2024 summer beach attendants. The city has previously publicly posted and published advertisements for the 2024 City of Buhl Public Beach at Stubbler Pit attendance. Posting and eligibility for these positions will remain open until sufficient personnel are sourced to cover the needs of the city. 3 additional applications have been received to date for beach attendant, and all of these applicants have fulfilled pre-employment paperwork requirements. None of these applicants have previously been employed by the city as summer help. They are all first-time applicants. We have a motion to approve the hiring of Lola Gundy, Austin, I apologize, what is it? Ugarud? Okay. Austin Ugarud as 2024 beach attendants contingent upon the successful completion of all employment and pre-employment requirements.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right. Discussion?
Is that all the positions filled now, or that probably?
Councilor Hadrava, this would leave us with 4 summer street labor and 3 beach attendants at this moment.
Okay, and that's what we.
As,
that
if this is
what-
approved as hired?
If approved as hired.
Okay.
yes.
And that's what we need to,
We could probably easily have at least 1 more, but other than that, I would defer to Public Works to let us know if we're getting too many.
yep,
Excellent.
that makes sense.
Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you to Layla, Lola, and Austin. Our beach will be a great time this summer again. All right, council, any further discussion? With nothing more, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Layla, Lola, and Austin. Moving on to item C. Consider removing certain items from the City of Buhl asset listings retroactive to December 31st, 2023. Mr. Jeffries, would you like to take this?
Thank you, Mayor Carter. Well, as a portion of the 2023 annual municipal audit of the city financial records and performance, the city auditor Sterling Company Ltd. requested the city review its current asset listings to determine whether or not these listings should be amended or modified. Specifically, the review focused on reviewing current items on the tax asset detail listings to determine whether any items are no longer in service, disposed of, or otherwise are no longer in the city's possession. City staff, including Finance Manager Thronson, Public Works Foreman Pink, Lead Library Tech Overstar, Fire Chief Lehman, and Administrator Jeffries participated in this review. The review resulted in the identification of 12 items which are candidates for removal from this listing as noted on the attached tax asset detail reports. So of those 12 items, there are 10 of them which would just be looking for disposal. There are 2 items that are still in the city's possession. Items which are still in the city's possession will be offered for sale to the general public. These items include in the electric department a locator from 2005 and a 1989 trailer jetter. All other items will be disposed of if applicable, are belonging in the city's possession, were sold, or otherwise have no remaining value. So the recommendation is to remove the items which are highlighted on your tax asset detail listings in color. To remove those items from the listings retroactive to December 31st, 2023. And for the public's consideration, those items which were identified, I can go through them very, very quickly. They include the locator we spoke of, some 404 electric meters, the trailer jetter we spoke of, a deep well and pump from 2010, motor and parts for well number 1, another well pump, those 2 are from 2011 and 2012 respectively. In the sewer department, a sampler pump, a test pump, a rebuilt auto-built blower, and some office equipment. In the general fixed asset listing, a 1976 Ford fire truck, which has been and is out of service, and some air packs, which are also out of service. Finally, for BEDA, the Economic Development Authority, the security cameras at the beach have exhausted their useful life, and we'd like to take them off the listing as well. Thank you.
All right, we'll start with a motion to approve removing the assets highlighted on the current tax asset detail reports retroactive to December 31st, 2023.
All motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Oh, discussion. Mr. Jeffries, did you say a 1976 Ford fire truck?
I did.
Can you elaborate on this piece of equipment?
I will.
This item is one that is slated to be,
So, service.
yeah.
It is not on the for sale list at this time because it has been deemed as no asset value any longer to the city because it no longer can be in service. Okay? It is a 1976 truck from October of 1975. The original cost to the city was $9,989. So it was
Nice.
purchased a bit used. It has undergone its 15-year straight line depreciation, and again now carries a $0 asset value to us.
Where's that vehicle located?
I cannot answer that, I'm sorry. I do not know.
Anybody aware of that truck?
No.
That's 1976?
Why
It's a
couldn't it be
Ford.
sold?
Yeah.
Well, it can as an antique.
I mean, a lot of people collect.
Well, that's what the idea would be. I know in town there's an old fire truck,
There's an old plow truck too.
but I wasn't aware that there was a 1970. We'll have to talk more on that with city guys.
I don't know.
1976. Okay. So with this vote, it will remove these assets from the current tax asset detail report.
Correct.
All right. Anything further, council? No? All right, with nothing further, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's carried. All right, item D, consider approval of and authorization to apply for a volunteer fire assistance grant from the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, Forestry Division. The Forestry Division of the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources administrates the Minnesota Volunteer Fire Assistance Grant Program. The Volunteer Fire Assistance Grant Program is a matching grant program which provides financial and technical assistance to Minnesota fire departments in cities or communities with a population under 10,000. The program's primary objectives are saving lives and protecting property in rural areas. Priority is given to fire departments with the greatest need and participating in a community wildfire protection plan or a county all hazard mitigation plan. Awarded grant amounts range from $1,000 to $5,000. Full application is due by July 1st, 2024. Do we have a motion to authorize the administrator to submit a full application for a volunteer fire assistance grant from the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources Forestry Division if determined to be eligible, and to accept and expend said funds for these eligible and specific proposed purposes if awarded? Sorry. Do we have a motion?
I'll make,
Motion.
Thank you. Have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Mr. Jeffries, anything to add to that?
This is to help the fire department, and we would work directly with the fire department, but we may be in a better position to accomplish this task more than they are. So try to work together on their behalf. The need would be to approach the fire chief and see what they may have on their list of needs and take it from there.
Excellent. So, if approved here, you'll reach out, and anything we can do for the department is, I'm all for. Okay, anything further, council? All right, nothing more. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. All right, item E. Continue to consider formal creation of internal audit committee. Denise, you weren't here last meeting, so I think council agreed together to wait until you were here to have further discussion on it. So we all know the scoop here. Motion to formally create an internal audit committee comprised of members of the city council to periodically review all business and financial activities of the city and to direct staff to create the scope of duties of this committee.
Great.
Have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Let's have some discussion.
So again, I think I was the one that actually brought this a question to one of the other ones that we were voting on, and I truly believe that we need to have another set of eyes on our funds, you know, when we're spending our money. It doesn't take very long to go through these. You're looking for things that we didn't approve for our budgets, and all of a sudden we're spending money for. Those are the kind of things you're trying to catch. You're also, it's another set of eyes if Diana misses something, or you know, it's just.
And nobody's perfect.
Nobody is, and to me, I think it's important that we do have this audit committee.
Well, and the city
And
previously had something in place.
We did, and we missed a couple of years in there of this happening, and I think we need to bring it back. I'm done.
That's all?
That's it, that's all that needs to be said.
Thank you. So the question would be, obviously, it's not a question, 2 council members, right? Because 3 would be a quorum. So 2 council.
You don't even have to be together, it's
Right.
just, like, I came up myself this weekend and looked, and then I don't know who else did it, but you, Randy.
I just come in Monday mornings usually.
So at this time, should we appoint 2 individuals? Or how does council wish to do it?
I think the best course would to create the internal audit committee. If that passes, then you can appoint
Then we could appoint
2
2.
individuals from the council. You know, you don't want a quorum in public.
No,
You just-
yeah.
No.
That'd be the best course, doing 2 different motions.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to formally form an internal audit committee comprised of 2 members of city council. Anything further? All right, with nothing more, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is carried. We officially have an internal audit committee. Now with that, would somebody like to motion to appoint
Mayor Carter,
Yes, sir.
I would suggest, maybe if you want to think about it, our next meeting on June 11th, we may have some of the specifics in place. You could
Okay.
at that same time appoint the individuals, or appoint a rotating set of individuals also.
Okay.
Will that be okay?
Council? Next meeting?
Sounds good.
Yeah, we can decide that. I don't know how a rotating one works, you know, you don't have that with your other groups, so I don't,
Right.
I mean, it doesn't mean that can't be done, but.
Well, now that it's in place, we can all think about our
Right.
schedules
Right.
also, you know.
Yeah.
Some of us may not be able to do that, or some of us
Right.
are, you know. So yeah, next meeting?
Sure.
All right, excellent. Well, congratulations, Buell.
Anyway.
We are back to having an internal audit
I'll be
committee.
here anyway, so. I guess it's fine.
All right, thanks, everybody. Moving on to item F, notice of Rams available board vacancy for the remainder of 2024. The Range Association of Municipalities and Schools, RAMS, has announced that due to a board member's resignation, there's a vacancy on RAMS board. The term of this vacancy will begin on or about June 27th, 2024 and ends on December 31st, 2024. A notice of vacancy was posted by RAMS on May 17th, and nominations will be accepted until Thursday, June 20th at 5 p.m. Nominations may be submitted to RAMS at ramsminnesota.org. Note that nominees are required to possess a qualifying election certificate from the city. Any questions should be directed to the RAMS office during normal business hours. And I think the resignation was due to an individual running for election. On to newer horizons.
Mayor Carter?
Yes, sir.
I would suggest that if anybody is interested, I would avail myself to be the go-between and make that application happen if you wish.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but those vacancies don't come up too often.
Vacancies do not, you are correct. If someone runs and they wish to continue, the terms are 2 years, and then you'll have to update the election certificate, but, so this would end on December 31st, 24, but then follow up with a non-interim appointment, a regular appointment, the next term in 25 through the end of 26.
Buell has previously held one of those seats also. Nominations will be accepted through Thursday of June 20th.
That's this week, oh, June.
June, so there's a little bit of time, council, think about it.
A qualifying election certificate.
I think you all have them.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. You have to be an elected
I'm sure you all
official.
have them.
Or, I'm not sure of all
Because
the
we haven't been
criteria.
on, none of us got on the RAMs, we didn't get there in time to.
Right.
To participate.
Right.
Would they even think about any of us, being that we haven't been?
You are as qualified as any other candidate.
So we also need a reminder then when RAMs comes up in what, December, to get somebody over there? Is that when that comes up?
Certain, they don't turn over completely, but you know, certain seats will turn over. I'm afraid I don't know exactly how many.
Okay.
But yes, we would do a reminder later in the year.
Yeah, this says December 19th for the election of the next 2-year term.
I can't read.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Do you need us to
Yeah,
read
December
anything?
19th.
Everything, I can't even see
Or
it, so.
print? Alright, we have until, for nominations are up until June 20th, 5 p.m. Term is for
2 years.
This term ends December 31st.
Oh, this term is just 6
So
months.
just to fill the vacancy until the next election.
Trial period, see if you like it.
Yeah. Good for the city too.
Yep.
Right, informational only. Anything further, council? All right, moving on. Item G, reminder of the 2024 election candidacy filing period. As an ongoing reminder, 2024 is an election year including the national presidential election. 2 city council seats and 1 mayoral seat are up for election in Buhl and will be on the ballot. The municipal general election shall be held Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. The primary election will be held on Tuesday, August 31st, 2024. There will be a local municipal primary election conducted at the same time. In order to be considered for candidacy of any office, individuals must file with the city during a prescribed filing period. The filing period for candidacy for Buhl municipal office, sorry if I'm stumbling on my words, the filing period is now open as of May 21st and will remain open for 2 weeks until Tuesday, June 4th at 5 p.m. Please note that this is the only period available for candidate filing. Filing for election must be done through city staff at City Hall. Anyone interested in filing for municipal public office will need to obtain an affidavit of candidacy from City Hall during regular City Hall business hours, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., Friday, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Complete this and file this with the city clerk prior to the expiration of the filing period. Any questions should be directed to city staff during normal business hours. Also, there is a small fee, $2.
$2.
$2 along with filling out the affidavit, and that's all you have to do to run for office. Pretty simple. And I encourage everybody to do it. I mean, I think it should be similar to jury duty, personally. Serving your community. I mean, it's everybody should take a shot at it. Everybody should participate. You don't want the same people running everything forever. That's my opinion. So I encourage everybody, file. It's a couple of bucks, a piece of paper, and that's it.
Cost of a half a gallon of gas.
That's right.
That's too expensive.
So everybody, we have till Tuesday, June 5th at 5 p.m. Between now and then to file. If you're willing, if you're interested, come to City Hall. Council, anything further? I think I checked it. Nobody's filed yet. Kind of disappointing.
On day one,
Day one.
thought we were all gonna wait till Tuesday at 4:30.
Tuesday at 4:30. Check the Secretary of State website.
Well, a little time.
Yeah. You gotta make sure you're far enough up in the line so the doors won't get closed on you.
But really, I encourage everybody. I mean, it's a great experience. It's a way to serve your community, and everybody's got a different opinion of things. I mean, throw your name in the hat. Right, anything further? Moving on. Oh. Other business.
We have done.
We have none. Excellent. Councilors' comments. We have them.
I'll start. As usual.
Thank you.
I know the cemetery road has some issues as to you can't just go out there and grind it up because there's something that's underneath it that you can't do that. But is there a way that we can get someone to look at that road and try to fix it? Because I don't know if you've been out there at all, but it's in bad shape. And I think I brought this up last year too, and it's still in bad shape. So I don't know if we can figure out a plan to try to get someone to try to fix the.
We can't grind it up.
No, what's underneath there? Isn't there like bars or?
Yeah, I think there's steel under there, yeah.
Oh, crossing a railroad or something maybe.
Yeah, and
That would make sense.
but you can't, so you just can't go and mill it.
Right.
So, but if we
Can
can
you
figure
put
out.
tailings?
I have no idea, I'm not a road person, but I don't know if we could look into that because it is getting bad and there has been some talks, and if you go out there and visit the people out there, some of them are pretty quiet, but some of them, yeah.
In the cemetery?
No pun.
Good one.
But I'm pumped.
Yeah. Okay, end of that one. I attended the Buhl Youth event at the Senior Citizen Center on Sunday, and it was very good. It was too bad more people didn't come, too bad some more youth didn't come, because you could have really learned a gift of making egg rolls. And it was really a good event put on, and I think people should start attending these more often, because they are, that was a spectacular event put on, so thank you, Mother, for that. And then one more thing I was thinking about when you guys talk about working with the fire department, we have this June 22nd celebration coming up. Maybe it might be like a good idea, because there's gonna be a lot of people around, that they have some kind of booth maybe that they can set up to try to get more members.
Or the fire
and
truck.
they can promote themselves, you know, that
Set the fire
we
truck, let
need,
the
we
kids
need
check it
you. But it needs to be,
With a water
they need to start
cannon.
promoting themselves, not just over Facebook, they need to actually do it in person, and this might be a really good event for them to put themselves out there. And, you know, what if they have to put the fire equipment on, you know, whatever.
Just bring the truck out, shoot the water cannon.
You can make them put all that equipment on in the middle of
I'm
the
just-
street.
From a fire hose.
Yeah. Let
But I
them
think-
I like
yeah,
this idea.
yeah.
sign the parents up for the department.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need a fire hose to knock someone down, but I'm just thinking that it would be really a good way to get some young people involved in this, if they can sell their department, and this might be a good event to do it at.
Absolutely.
Right.
You don't need a fire hose to knock somebody down. We could use the fire hose to set off the dunk tank. I like this idea.
Oh, boy, yeah.
But I just think, you know, instead
That is
of
a good
having
idea.
something come to the fire hall, everybody will be up at the park,
Yeah.
they should put something together and support their own department and
Have
sell
a
it.
viewing of the fire truck even.
Are you guys gonna have
Kids check it
vendors
out.
again up at that park area?
Well, you could spray and mist, it's usually hot out.
Oh, yeah.
Let the kids run through the mist,
I'm done.
Good idea.
very nice.
Yes.
We'll have to phone the chief.
I got his number.
I mean, there you go. All right, thank you. Ladies,
I don't have anything.
nothing?
No.
Okay. Heard the egg roll thing was a good deal.
Nothing. It was
We
good,
were out of
yes.
town, otherwise I would've showed up there.
My mom, she makes really good
I love
lumpia,
egg rolls.
And
so.
she just watched you as you chop things and.
Mr. Mayor,
Fun.
just for information, you might want to think about having Mr. Jeffries contact somebody and see if it's worth getting that fire truck appraised to try to sell.
Well, yeah, first we're gonna locate
find
Yeah.
that truck.
Yeah,
Right.
find out where it is.
Oh, yeah.
If it don't exist no more, I don't know, it might be a pile of rust on the floor.
Well, we're gonna figure it out.
But then, on June 11th, the nursing home Cornerstone contacted me. And on June 11th, from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, we're gonna have a car show there.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah,
Squires Car Club is gonna come there.
June 11th?
June 11th.
June 11th?
June 11th, from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, Squires Car Club will be there.
Excellent.
And they're having Billy's and Billy's is going to be on the,
And when, Billy?
June 11th, 2 to 4?
June
Yeah.
11th, 2 to 4.
yeah, and Billy's I think is in the 20th.
I gotta
No,
look
I
it
think
up.
I think theirs is the 20th of July.
Well, Mr. Jeffries, add that to your summertime events.
got it, Mayor, thank you.
Car shows.
He's gonna verify.
We need to bring them back.
Billy's.
Um,
But yeah, that'll bring good
June,
business. And we know being parked over there, that's gonna probably bring a few people at the nursing home, yeah.
Maybe we'll have a 1976 fire truck in it.
As soon as we find it.
Right?
Oh, how do you lose a fire truck?
In somebody's garage.
I'm sure it's in somebody's garage. I know one.
Maybe up at the,
I know the old one is. I know my garage is in.
I'm sure they
I hope so. Okay, we gotta finish business here before it gets too late. Gentlemen, comments?
I think I'm good.
Nothing? Excellent. Mr. Towner?
All I would have is the Independence Day celebration coming up, and that's been mentioned a couple other times, so just a reminder, June 22nd. Parade lineup starts at 2, the parade starts at 3, and then we'll be at the park until everyone drops. That's it.
Excellent. That's gonna be a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Dunk tank.
Billy's was a
My wife's
Saturday.
birthday that day.
Ooh, excellent.
Big event for it. Be like, I put all this on.
Yeah, just for you. For mayor's comments, just wanna congratulate Buhl. Sounds like our town successfully secured $500,000 with the help of probably the Costin Group, our representatives down at the Capitol. Thanks for bringing that home to us. Congratulations, Buhl. That's all I have. If anybody sees a 1979 fire truck, stop at City Hall, let us know.
79, it's probably not
79.
ours.
76, I thought.
76.
Sorry, it's on here. Yeah.
Billy's Bar Car Show is July 20th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Thank you.
July 20th.
Yep, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Squires will be there and a few others.
Excellent.
This is like, what, third or fourth year we've had it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir. Any stuff like that comes up, I would encourage, bring some advertisement up to City Hall if it's available.
We can get it on the webpage.
Yeah, I never thought of it.
Yeah, right.
I said,
Yeah.
You started talking about the fire truck and I never
Yeah, and
thought about it, and I know they had a car show, you know.
Yeah, well, we could, I mean, if we have it, we can put it on our
I can
website
give you,
too.
I'll get you a list of them for this year,
That'd be great.
you know, where they are, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Love that.
Okay.
Cool.
Absolutely. We need to get car shows back around here. It's good. All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second. Anything further, council? And nothing more? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned, 7:36.